There is one big mistake that many seniors make when walking that can lead to a high risk of falls. And in today's video, I'm going to reveal what that mistake is and how you can avoid it at home. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties Specialist Physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today we're going to be revealing the one big mistake that seniors make when walking that can lead to falls and how to fix it. Now I'm going to show you how to fix this problem in just a moment and what the problem is, of course, but before I do, I just want to let you know that the advice in this video is not suitable for everyone. Make sure you get checked out by your doctor before you give it a try, and if it causes you any pain, just avoid it. Anyway, let's have a look at the mistake now and how to solve it. So the one major walking mistake that can lead to a higher risk of falls is slow walking. Now I understand that walking slowly is not always in your control. Some people, as they lose strength and mobility, naturally walk slower. But many people erroneously believe that walking slowly is actually safer than walking quickly. We sort of assume that, if we're rushing, we're more likely to trip and fall. But with walking, that's not usually the case. Now, slow walking, I like to think of as slowly riding a bike. It's the same kind of thing. If you ride a bike nice and quickly, the momentum keeps you stable. You don't wobble too much from side to side. But if you've ever tried riding a bike really slowly, you'll know that you start to wobble quite a lot from side to side because of the contact with the ground. Now, walking is kind of similar. If you walk quite briskly like this, the momentum keeps you level. So your hips don't drop to one side, your shoulders don't drop, and you keep your head basically quite level when you walk. But if you walk very slowly, what can happen is there's more movement on the foot, on the ground, so you start to get this kind of wobbling like that, and that can lead to instability. We also are spending longer on one leg, which means the hip is more likely to drop to one side, and add those things all together and it makes falling more likely. Now, if you have been consciously walking slowly, obviously you can try and walk a bit quicker and that should be better for you. But if you're one of the many people who walk slowly because you can't walk quickly, I'm going to show you some exercises to help you fix that. So I've got 3 exercises to show you today. We're going to be working on all of the muscle groups that cause faster walking when they're strong, and we're going to make them stronger for you so you can walk a bit quicker. So the first muscle group that's responsible for faster walking when it's strong is the calves. And your calves are the propulsion that forces you forward like this. So if you look at my right leg, my heel hits the floor first and then I push off using my toes, which is the calf muscle at work, to propel me forward. And research has shown that people with weak calves walk between 30 and 50% slower than age-matched counterparts who have stronger calves. So we're going to do a couple of different things for the calves. We're going to do a heel raise, which is a super easy exercise. I'm going to show you the basic version first, and then we're going to go on to a more advanced version if you can handle it. So to make this exercise work, we're just going to use a wall. You're going to put 2 hands on the wall. You're going to stand facing the wall like this, keeping your posture upright. And all we're going to do is, using those toes, we're going to rise up as high as we can, squeeze those calves at the top, and then slowly come back down. So we should go 2 seconds up, squeeze for 2 seconds, and then 3 or 4 seconds back down. That's about the right tempo to get the best work for your calves. Now, I'd like you to be able to do at least 15 or 20 of those, but if you felt you could do that all day, we need to make that a bit harder. And one of the ways we can make it harder is by using a rucksack. So I've got my rucksack here. It's filled with some books and diaries and things just to make it a bit heavier. I'm going to put it on my back like this, and I'm going to repeat. So now I've added a couple of kilograms to my body weight. So now we're going to go up again, squeeze at the top, and then slowly back down again. So nothing changes. We're just adding some load onto our backs. And you might be surprised at how much load you can take through your calves, because even in people where they're quite weak, comparatively speaking, this is a strong muscle group. It has a lot of muscular tissue in there. They're type 2 fibers, which are powerful. They allow us to rise up really high, and they don't fatigue very quickly because there's also some type 1 fibers in there as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to work up to about 20 repetitions in a row. If you can do more than 20 repetitions, you need to find something heavier to put in your rucksack. So you want to be failing as if you can't do any more at around the 15 to 20 rep mark. That would be perfect. And you're going to do 3 sets of that with 1 minute's rest in between, and that's a great prescription to build some stronger calves. The next muscle group we're going to work today that are really important for propelling you forward are the glutes. And not just all of the glutes, but gluteus maximus, which is the biggest one in the hip here. That is your most important muscle when walking for propelling you forward. Because as we walk, our hips should go out behind us to push us off, and it's that glute max that's doing the work. So this exercise is going to strengthen that muscle. It's called the donkey kick, and you just need the back of a chair to make it work. So this is how we're going to make the exercise work. You're going to put 2 hands on the back of a chair, and you're going to lean forward like this, hinging at your hips so your back is still nice and straight. Hopefully you can see from the angle here that I've not rounded my spine. I've got my back nice and straight like this. You can imagine you're pushing your bottom out behind you if that makes it easier. Now we're going to work one side at a time. So I'm going to work my right leg, and what we're going to do here is we're going to bring the knee up like this in front of us, and then keeping a bend in the knee, we're going to rise up and behind without moving the spine, and then repeat. So up, squeeze at the top, and then down. Up, squeeze at the top, and down. Now at the top there, I'm getting a nice contraction of that glute, because I'm going into what we call hip extension, which is where the hip is going behind me, and it's my glute that's doing 90% of the work. The other 10% there is coming from my hamstrings, which are the muscles at the back of the thigh. And if you feel doing this exercise that your hamstrings, these muscles are cramping, it means you're not using your glute properly. You're using your hamstrings to do more than their fair share of work. So to make it more effective, focus on squeezing a pencil between your bottom and keeping that pencil squeezed as you rise, and you'll feel more of a contraction here. And by the end of a working set of about 10 to 15 repetitions, usually for most people, you're going to get a working ache right here in that buttock. So I'll show you the other side. So this time nothing changes, keep the back nice and straight. We're going to now stand on the right leg, the left knee comes up and then out like that. So up in front and then up behind. We want to keep that angle of the spine as constant as we can. For people with lower back pain, they sometimes try and use their back. If that's the case, you might be going too high. So here is absolutely fine to stop. You might not actually have as much range of motion as me, because as we age, we do lose hip extension. So don't worry if you can't get it as high, but what we want to feel is that contraction in the glute. Don't worry too much about the angle of the knee. We want to keep a slight bend, but it doesn't have to remain constant throughout. Have a play around with different angles and stick with the one where you can feel it most in the target muscle. So again, 10 or 15 repetitions in a row, 1 minute's rest between sets, 3 times over, and then you're going to build stronger glutes as a result. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you about 3 Tip Friday. 3 Tip Friday is my weekly email that I send out to my list, and it features 3 of the most interesting things I've found that week. It could be a health tip, it could be a piece of research I'm reading, or it could be a new tool that I've found to be really useful for helping people get more mobile. It's totally free. I just send it out once a week. There's no annoying promos inside, and you can sign up for it by going down below this video and entering your email in the 3 Tip Friday link. The final exercise we're going to do today is called the power bridge. And it's basically a normal bridge, but we're going to try and use a little bit more force to get those muscles working, not just harder, but quicker as well, which is really important for propelling you forward when you walk. So the bridge is a great exercise. It works the quads and the glutes, and these are both very important walking muscle groups. So the bridge is nice and simple. What we're going to do is lie on your back nice and flat. You can use a pillow or no pillow, just depending on how your neck feels. I'm going to use one here. And you want to bend your knees as much as you feel you can. And this is important because it helps you activate your glutes better. Now, I like to tell people if they want to activate their glutes, we should mostly be pushing through the heels of the feet. So you can have your feet flat, but I'm going to raise them just to demonstrate that all the power here is going to be going through my heels. I don't really like people pushing up through their toes. You can feel it in different areas if you do that, but pushing through the heels helps to activate those glutes. So what we're going to do, hands down, We're going to first of all flatten the lower back down into the bed just to switch the core on. Raise your toes if you want to, push through the heels, lift up just to parallel like this, and at the top we're going to squeeze the bum together. Now if you look at my line, I'm not going to my maximum because that's going to overextend my lumbar spine, so I'm actually stopping here. So the big mistake people make is they overextend, they go to here. So we just want to stop here. Now I'm going to put all of that together in the actual pace we're going to do it for the exercise. So we're going to flatten and push, squeeze at the top. Remember, I'm only going 3/4 of the way and then down. So again, flatten and push, hold, and then back down. The reason I'm doing it quite quickly on the way up, like this, is because that is getting the glute max working in a powerful position, exactly as it would be trying to if we're trying to increase your walking speed when you're on your feet. So we're trying to replicate exactly what we would do in a walking gait with the exercise we're doing. Now, this is why it's really important that we don't overextend, because if you're doing it quite quickly and you overextend and you go too high to here, you can really jam your facet joints together and your back is not going to be happy the next day. So that is the power bridge. Again, I'd recommend doing 10 to 15 in a row. Have a rest, 1 minute, then do 3 sets in total. And then you're going to build stronger glutes and legs as a result. So that's the one big mistake that leads to falls in seniors. I hope you found this video useful. If you have taken something from it, then do leave us a comment, because I love to read your thoughts and it does help us to improve these videos in the future. So thank you if you take the time to do that. And if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's got loads more tips and tricks and advice like the stuff in this video. It's called Thriving Beyond 50 and you can find it on Amazon using the link below. Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next video.